What's up, guys? Dr. Joe Ruskowski here with IDPT, another back pain episode. And what we're going to talk about today is the number one mistake that you can make if you have just pulled your back out. Listen, I know these things happen where you were moving furniture or you were lifting something, you bent awkwardly, and all of a sudden that dreaded moment of I just pulled my back out happens. And you're like, what do I do now? So what I want to talk about is that big mistake that you can make that is going to prolong this injury for much longer than it has to be. I've had people who tell me they threw their back out. It lasted for a week. It lasted for 2 weeks. It lasted for a month. That is crazy. If something like this does happen, there is a way to start alleviating it right away and start really reducing the amount of time that you're down and out. So what inspired me to make this video is that over the weekend, I got a text from someone in my family, someone I'm extremely, extremely close with, saying that they pulled their back out again and that all weekend they were on the couch, down and out, beside themselves, didn't know what to do. And this person in my family member, she has been going to her chiropractor for 30 years, literally 30 years. And she swears by him, he's the best thing ever. Now, guys, you know me, like physical therapy, chiropractor, I don't care what you do as long as that person is giving you really good sound advice and helping you. And she swears by him, he's the best thing ever. And then my first question goes to, okay, if he's the best chiropractor in the world, why have you been going to him for 30 years? But you can't bring that up because they'll get upset with me. So I just said, okay, that's great. 30 years down the line and you just pulled your back out again. And so what she said was, I've been icing my back, laying on the couch, and taking Advil, and she has a prescription like painkiller that she's been taking as well. And she's like, you know, it's been now since the weekend, so it's been 3 days, like starting to get a little bit better. I'm really limping around, but I can move again. And again, this brought me to this concept of this video. The number one mistake that you can make and that she made is that this happened. She pulled her back out and then she did nothing. She laid on the couch, she laid around, got even more stiff, and decided she was going to rest. If you've been following this page and you've been following my social medias, our Instagram, our TikToks, I mention all the time how resting is not recovery. Our body is 90% fluid. So the only way that we can recover is to get blood flow and fluid flow throughout our body. And the only way we can do that is if we move. And so I know it might feel uncomfortable to move around after you just pulled your back out, but the worst thing that you can do is just lay down or sit down and then do that for days on end. And so if the number one mistake that you can make after pulling your back out is, you know, lounging around resting, then what is the best thing that you can do is you can stay moving and you can do things that are going to improve your body's alignment, improve your body's posture, and decrease all the muscle tension. Because that's really what happens when you pull your back out. It's your muscles not up. And so if we know that it's, okay, this is a muscular issue, then we know it's actually safe to move around. You're not going to make like some spine injury or cause a disc to herniate or something by just staying active. And so the first thing I'd recommend are low-level breathing exercises on the ground. We know that if the body is 90% fluid, then we can actually shape where that fluid is going to go based on how we use the ground. So for example, if I lay on my side and block that side with the ground, picture a bag full of water. That water is going to expand front to back. And what we're going to do is literally expand the space in our back to alleviate those muscles and start to lengthen those muscles. And so here's a really good example of an exercise that I love to use, especially for someone who just pulled their back out and just need to create some space and alleviate their symptoms in their back. Okay, the next piece of advice that I'd give is some gentle stretching. Now, again, you've been following this page, you know what I say about stretching. Like, stretching is not going to fix anything. But guys, we're not trying to fix anything right now. We're just trying to be normal and be able to walk around the house and around the block again. And so I would definitely recommend some gentle stretching. If we're really aggressive with our stretching and you're really chasing a hard stretch, that's actually going to cause your body to tense up more. Have you ever done a stretch where you're really getting into that position and you catch yourself holding your breath, almost like straining yourself to get there? That's not what we want. We want gentle, easy, low-level breathing and just kind of feel a nice pull. Okay, so after that, we've done the breathing exercises, we've done some gentle stretching. My recommendation is go for a short walk. A lot of my patients, they're crazy. They're like, oh, I went for a short 2-mile, 3-mile walk. Like, slow down. We just got injured. All we want to do is keep moving. And if you really have to walk like to stay sane that much, then break it up into pieces. So my recommendation is go for about 2 blocks, come back home. Again, stay moving, but not going for a walk. Then go back out later, a little more walk, go back to the breathing exercise, go back to the stretches. It is gonna be a little bit of a process, but what we don't wanna do is just stiffen ourselves up more. All right, so finally we're at the point where we can walk around pretty much pain-free. We might feel a little lingering achiness or tightness, but ultimately we don't have that severe flare-up like we just had. It's time to get back into the gym. And I'm not talking about let's get under heavy weight, start really bracing and tensing. Not what I'm looking for. I want smooth, fluid motion. And so my top recommendations at this point would be really light heel elevated movement. So heel elevated goblet squats. I'd love to see some split squats. Again, really light, but making sure your front heel is down, you're heavy on the front heel. And what that's gonna do is actually encourage the pelvis to tip back a little bit, and we know that our low back muscle attaches to the top of that pelvis, so it's going to elongate the muscle. Other exercises I'd love to see are types of alternating rows where it's going to get both your arms moving in different directions, so that's going to encourage a little bit of rotation in your body. That's going to be key just to keep you moving, and at that point you should be feeling pretty good. So we're going to slowly start to increase the intensity and increase the length of our workouts in the gym. All right, to summarize, guys, you pulled your back out. Absolute worst thing that you can do is sit around all day, let all that stiffness and that fluid build up, and you get even achier. We're not looking to take pills. Of course, if you need to manage your symptoms a little bit with Advil, I get it. It's not ideal, but it does happen. But what are our steps? We're gonna get on the ground. We're gonna do breathing exercises to decompress your back. Then we're gonna do some gentle, light stretching. We're gonna start integrating walks once we feel like we can actually start walking pain-free. And as we're able to do more distance, it's time to get back into the gym and start getting some good quality movement, smooth fluid, squats, split squats, and other upper body things. So guys, if you found this helpful, you know anyone who often pulls their back out or has a very fragile back, please send this over to them so that if they do have another episode, they have this as a resource to them to get them feeling better and moving better faster and safer. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and any questions that you have, drop them below and I'll be happy to answer. Thank you guys. I'll see you soon.